PWI. Yes, I am back. I am back. And the only reason why I haven't been able to do things recently was over the past 2 weeks were technical difficulties, but I've obviously was able to resolve all of those thanks to my lovely computer giving me the updates. So, that being said, I was gonna make my first video, the Clash of Champions review. Well, it's not a review; it's actually a Backlash versus Clash of Champions showdown, which I will upload probably on Wednesday. No, Thursday, because Wednesday I'm actually gonna do a Lucha Underground review. If that's what you guys would like. If not, I might upload a different video. But Thursday will go the Clash of Champions versus Backlash will go up. Um, and I was gonna make my first video, the Raw review, but then I was like, no, I wanna go ahead because if I review Raw, I was gonna be really pissed just the whole way through. And I actually did record it, but it was just me ranting on how bad Raw was to me. It wasn't that it was bad; it was just that it was boring and that I couldn't sit through it. That I was just so frustrated over the fact that we were seeing things that we didn't really want to see. The cruiserweights are the only thing that keeps me living, as well as Chris Jericho and Kevin Owens. And it was the women's matches, but not no more. Um, but I'll get to that in a bit. So instead, what I'm going to do, as I will upload my SmackDown review, I will do that one. But I'm going to go ahead and look at Raw in depth, call out their mistakes, and fix them. Because rather than me just ranting on them, I would love to think that there was an alternative motive to go about, rather than just going this whole video and getting dislikes for ranting on people's favorite stars. And since I'm a peacekeeper, I would not like to you know upset anyone. So if I do end up doing that though somehow, I mean, leave your opinions down below. I've always said that. Like, don't go around being disrespectful though, but then give a good argument, like your opinion on why you think Raw was possibly good or why you think it was bad if you didn't agree to how I worded something. But that being said, let's just go ahead and move on from this. So let's before we look at the downs, let's go look at the ups. This is not what culture, but I'm just kind of like doing my own version of what I'm not going to fix of Raw that night. The tag team match, pretty good. I liked it. It was pretty good. The only disappointment was New Day did not lose. Well, I mean, no, that's not a disappointment because I love the New Day. But I mean, let's be honest. Me being the person, a wrestling fan, rather than just a fan of one person, I gotta admit that it's time to let other people shine. So the New Day needs to, give up the titles pretty soon, and I would think that it's probably going to be Sheamus and Cesaro. Let's go ahead and look at the cruiserweights. All pretty solid. And despite what people thought about Cesaro and Sheamus being teamed up rather than finishing the best of series match, that actually goes with Clash of Champions and not so much Raw. I guess they could have finished it on Raw, but look, I'm all for new things, and we got to remember that some of the great tag teams really did come from unlikely pairings. So I'm very invested to see how this is gonna work out. But we just got to give it a chance. Is all I'm trying to say. So and those are pretty strong points. Then the downs that I'm really going to be talking about here, where I did not like it. Oh, and then the U.S. Championship feud is like all right for the most part. What I did not like a lot at all was the women's booking. Before I could have said, just sort of hinted that the NXT women are going to just be the favorites from WWE's creative team, and that they're only being picked by them, and that that was just only speculation, and that was only just me kind of, or people just saying it and then coming up with these conspiracies and stuff like that. But now it is safe to say that these women are here as their favorites. And what I mean by that is, it's fine if you want to continue Sasha Banks and Charlotte. It's fine if you want to give them a segment, but Bayley does not need a squash match. Bayley, of all the women in that locker room, does not need to get built up any more than she already is. I was disappointed because I heard Paige and Emma were backstage. I would have much rather, 10 times more, have seen Paige and Emma return, either in separate matches or in one match, rather than seeing the three horsewomen here. Yet again, look, I like them. Liked. I don't know. I like. We're not gonna deny their talents. We're not. They're amazing. They're amazing competitors. Don't get me wrong. But where I seem to be confused on this whole ordeal is why the need to just continue to put them out in the spotlight. They're good, but they don't need to be everywhere. And that's my main problem. That look, yeah, they're amazing yet again, but give the other ladies a shine. Even Nia, hell, even Nia freaking Jax. In fact, I would have 10 times more rather have seen, if you didn't want Paige and Emma coming up, then I would have much rather have seen a Nia Jax versus Alicia Fox rematch and let them get extreme or let them do some more spots. I don't know, but I don't want to see the horsewomen all the time. And I'm sorry if I offend anyone with this, but I just got frustrated, and so did a lot of people, because it was a boring segment. And despite what you think, because what made it boring, I mean, it was entertaining, don't get me wrong, but like what made it boring was the fact that we've already seen that same segment 87,938 times before, where Charlotte goes on talking about how she's the best champ, and Sasha goes on how she's saying that she's going to take it away from Charlotte. We get it. Sasha's gonna win. That's fine. That's all nice and dandy. But look, we did not really want to see that. This is why Raw's numbers are declining. So I pretty much just kind of said how they could have fixed that. Tone it down on the horsewomen. In fact, if you wanted to build somebody up, build maybe Charlotte. Build Dana Brooke. Build Emma, Paige, Nia, not Bailey, because unless if you're gonna give her a feud, but still, I would have much rather have seen her lose via upset or win via an upset with an actual competitor, because I want to see more than just Bailey being thrown into the mix. Because Bailey doesn't need a squash match, guys. She doesn't need it. She does not need a squash match. I would have honestly thought a triple threat rematch or a tag team match, and then give us a different women's match, just completely different, if you really wanted to shove them down our throats. But my main problem is that you gave the slots to just them, the two women's slots that they show, and this is just more proof that SmackDown and NXT's women's division is way better than Raw. It's way better than Raw's women's division, way better. I just, the opportunity is there, and that's where, you know, that's where Raw kind of messes up, because like you don't see everybody, you just see the three who are handpicked, or the four. So that aside, my ranting from that aside, I kind of already mentioned how the tag team scene, like, hey, we kind of should have gotten the New Day losing. Like it was kind of a bit irrelevant to have a rematch, but then again, like it happened, and it was a good match, and it told a story. So I wasn't too disappointed, just because the match was like grade A, caliber match. It had heart, it had false finishes. It was a pretty good match, but you know, I just think that the New Day maybe should have lost. You know, um, that aside, I would say that the rest of Raw had to be the overly long segments, the the unanswered questions that we had, like Triple H, and we should have gotten more of Stephanie kind of saying her part of that, Sorry, kind of saying like what she thought of it, and maybe even have a whole segment, because I would have, believe it or not, I kind of like that better than seeing these irrelevant segments. The highlight reel. I like Chris Jericho. I love Chris Jericho. I love Kevin Owens. They made my day after the horrible women's thing that I'm sorry, I'm so sorry, but I just can't get over it. I didn't like it. I didn't like the fact that we were just getting them shoved down our throats. But the highlight reel, I think we didn't really need a highlight reel. I feel like, and what I mean by that is that like we don't need it because they're making the highlight reel look less important than what it really should be. Because the highlight reel really doesn't even sound like something big to just put a name on anymore. It just sounds like a segment. And that's when people turn off their TVs because the way they're always booked is someone always has to interrupt. I feel like they need to start kind of I don't know how, but like they really do need to do something different with the highlight reel and use it to some advantage because it's getting predictable is what I'm trying to say. So that's one way to fix that that right there. Um, then the main event, the tag match was with Enzo More and Big Cass. You know, at first I was like, wait, what the f? Like, I remember SummerSlam. You know, um, let's see what else. I already kind of mentioned how the cruiserweights were probably the only thing I enjoyed more than anything else. Um, because I don't know, I didn't like Raw to me. I just didn't like most of it. It was disappointing to say the least. Um, yeah, they really do gotta fix the time slot on it. At first, I was all against it because I kind of like my 3 hour show, but then seeing as to how really time consuming it is because they're not fixing it. You know what they're really not fixing it. The fans are telling them how. The smarts are telling them how. Former Hall of Famers are telling them how, but they're not doing it, and they really got to do more different things with Raw. They gotta give us more depth in certain divisions. The cruiserweights, though, again, sorry. Look, what they're doing with the cruiserweights is what they basically have to do with everyone else. I'm not talking about the matches. No, like I don't think they really have the power to go and round and you know put the matches and tell them how to do their match. I mean, they could, but that's not what I mean. What I mean is the way they're bringing more depth into the cruiserweight, the way they're booking things right now, the way how there's two things going on. I know they're fairly new, but it's kind of hard to mess this up when the fans are high on it right now, and when they're actually doing something good, and that is again giving us depth. That's what they basically had to do with all the other parts of the divisions. Like the tag, the women's, the U.S. Championship right now. Another big mistake is Rusev lost at Clash of Champions. What I say by that is like Roman. I mean, sure, that's all I had to say. Like sure, when he won. The thing was, it's just like I thought Rusev was more of an entertaining champion than Roman will be. But then again, we haven't really seen him so much in it yet. We are yet to see Roman come into his own. Um, but yeah, that's basically what I'm afraid of seeing because Rusev was starting to get more interesting again, and Lana was starting to become her own now, and they were starting to get built up to being the super athletes and stuff. I think where people are left disappointed, at least some of us are, where Kurt Angle's return. I think that's where most of this is coming from. But hey, we're still to see if Roman might make it interesting. I'm just glad he's not in the main event scene because he's always just pushed to the limit with it. And I'm not saying he's a bad champion. It wasn't that he was a bad champion. It was just it wasn't the right way to book it. Um, so yeah, where Raw really has to fix a lot of the stuff is basically in depth, building up storylines, revisiting some feuds, in fact, and the women's division, just the women's division in general. Anyways, if you like this video, please like, share, subscribe to all of that good stuff. Comment down below, actually, favorite parts of Raw, and what kind of videos would you like to see me do? Top 10.